Okay, we're now here on the putting green and we're going to talk about putting. Probably the most controversial part of the whole game, because nowadays we've got putters that are of normal lengths like this putter. We've got putters that are tall, that are pushed away from your body and used more like a pendulum. And we've got the belly putters, we call them, because we anchor them against our belly. But I'm going to show you the old-fashioned way because that's what I am, old-fashioned. This is just a 35-inch putter. And we're going to grip it a little bit different than we do most clubs. And normally we wouldn't interlock or overlap, but we would just reverse and put this left finger down on top of the right hand. This would be the nice permanent grip that you'd want to use with your putting, because it just keeps the club nice and light in your hands, and that's the way you want to be. You want to feel like you're holding maybe a wounded bird in your hands, and you don't want to squeeze it. So that would be the grip, the way we'd want it to feel when we put it down, that we would stay nice and light to where, you know, it just ever so slightly. Then we're going to use this sort of this pendulum type move that I'm going to talk about. As far as the stance is concerned, we're going to try to stand where this ball is directly underneath our eyes. So that's the amount. If you bend over, and your shoulders here again about shoulder width apart, if you bend over, your eyes are over this ball. Now, there are always variations in putting. You know, Jack Nicklaus used to get in here and he'd kind of get himself locked way behind the ball because he said he could see the line better that way. But you have to kind of find out what's the best way, what feels the most comfortable for your putting stance. And when we get that figured out, then we can figure out how should we line up and what's going to be the best way to strike the ball and get it rolling in the hole. Okay, now part 2 to this is how to get the proper stance. One great way to practice your stance you can do right in your own living room, to where you'll put a golf ball. If you had a baseboard running like this and the wall is right here, is to put a ball just about where it would fit on your putter and walk up to the wall and literally stick your head up against the wall. If you'll do that, you're going to find that every time when we hold this club up, it's directly behind the ball. But if you'll do that, put it up against this wall and just practice your putting going back and forth, you're going to get a pretty good motion. And what good motion does for you, it lets you repeat the putting stroke. And by repeating the putting stroke, what's that going to do? You're going to knock in more putts. So you get the putter square, you get the motion going, you get the stance properly, and then you start to line up the putt. Now, what do we do to try to line it up? Most of the time, you guys will kind of get back here and you're not even sure what the speed is, and you'll whack the ball off 15 feet past the hole. But what we're going to do is, we know this putt's a little bit downhill. We've got our posture. We've kind of put our head up against the imaginary wall. Our grip is light, club head is square, stroke through it. It's going to look something like that. So those are the basic parts you're going to need to start putting better. I'll be back with some more tips.